All right, so today's question of the day comes from future sailor Vallejo, and I hope I said that right. So she asks two things. Number one, is a Navy equal opportunity for whoever wants to come and achieve whatever goals that they have? They have equal opportunity to achieve them. And number two, is it competitive in terms of rate and advancement wise? So let me share with you three things in my opinion, okay, from what I notice and from what I can see. All right, so number one, in terms of competitiveness, I define competitiveness as two things, healthy competitiveness and unhealthy competitiveness. I see a lot more in the Navy healthy competitiveness compared to unhealthy competitiveness. Now, unhealthy competitiveness, to give you an example, let's say you and I are taking the third class exam, right? I have all the secret information that I collected from a lot of people, and I'm not going to share it with you. And this information is going to help propel my chances of advancing compared to you. I don't see that a lot. I don't see that at all, actually. Because the healthy competitiveness is the third class who are already third classes, or the second class, or the first class, or the chiefs, all give out the same information or give out the same tips to everybody. It doesn't matter, who you are. They all give out the same information, and all the same information is available for everybody, online, or if you just ask people. People generally want to help each other. So if you ask, let's say you want to be a third class, you just ask a third class within your rate and say, they'll give you tips, within their knowledge and, what they think is going to be the best strategy and how they did it. And that information is available to you. All you have to do is ask, right? So an unhealthy competitiveness is you might think, people want to advance just because they want to order you around and just yell at you. Now, I do see some people that let their crow get into their head, their rank get into their head. I do see that, but for the most part, people want to advance for two reasons. Number one, out of curiosity of how far they can get up within their time in the Navy, and number two, they just want more money. Okay. So that is one thing that I see in terms of competitiveness. Now, the second point as to, equal opportunity, I do see a good amount of, not a good amount, but I do see favoritism. Favoritism does exist. Now, it's not unhealthy favoritism. For example, let's say I'm a petty officer first class and there's 10 brand new sailors, and I say, I like you and I like you, and I'm not going to help anybody else except for these two. No, I don't, that does not exist at all. But what I do see is, for example, let's say I've been in the Navy for 20 years. Let's say I'm a chief, right? And there's 10 sailors in front of me, and I get to know all the sailors. And, there's few particular sailors, let's say 3 sailors that, kind of reminds me when I was younger of, let's say when I was a fresh sailor, and I see a lot in them of when I was a brand new sailor. Right? So I'm going to take under them wings, and I'm going to mentor them, and I'm going to make sure, whatever, ambitions that they told me, whatever goals and dreams that they told me, I'm going to help as much as I can with my ability, help these sailors get what they want, because I can't help 10 people, because that's too crazy. That's extreme, right? I can only help, few people at a time, right? So I do see that. That's healthy favoritism, which is called mentoring. And I do recommend you, if you can, if you have the opportunity, or if you come across a mentor, that's going to be a great asset to you and to your career. Now, I personally don't have a mentor. I'm not out there, seeking a mentor or anything like that. So I would say if you have a mentor, you would have a good extra advantage compared to someone who doesn't. Because a mentor is who likes you, who is going to take the time out of their day to help you specifically with whatever you want, compared to as me, if I'm kind of a wanderer soloing around, I'm just going to ask random people, their tips and advice. They're not going to really invest in that time to think about the question compared to a mentor, okay? So third thing that I can share with you from my experience and from what I noticed is the Navy is equal opportunity for everybody. it is definitely equal opportunity for everybody. However, it just comes down to, who's willing to, really study for it, who's willing to really dig deep and get all the information, nooks and cranny of all the information as they can. Okay, so, I read a lot of newspapers. So this is not relevant to advancement wise, but, I read a lot of newspapers and all that kind of stuff. So I know some information compared to other people, not in terms of, advancement wise, but in terms of my overall career as to what I want to achieve. So for example, not a lot of people in the Navy know about the early release program. So, coming into the military, I have a 5-year contract, but if I apply for the early release program, I can reduce my contract to 3 years, right? So I can do my 3 years and get out, which is my goal. But not a lot of people know that, And with the early release program, the special condition is your rate has to be overmanned. There has to be a surplus of supply compared to the demand. So now this is where I get a little bit greedy. I'm not going to share this information freely with a lot of people within my rate, right? Because they are going to want to get out earlier. So I'm not going to share that with them because I want to make sure that I can get out. But I mean, if they ask me, I'll share it with them. But I'm not going to just freely say, hey, maybe you should apply for that. I'm going to do the same thing, and I tell 100 people, and I just kind of luck out, right? So in a way, I am greedy, but in a way, I did my own due diligence and get that information, get that piece of knowledge compared to everybody else, because I read it in the newspaper. Not a lot of people read newspapers, right? So it's you might hate me or you might not like me for it, but I definitely did my due diligence, right? I took my time to read a newspaper, not like a lot of people. So it really comes down to all the information is available to you. All the opportunity is available to you. All you have to do is take advantage of it. Now, it comes with some luck. It comes with some, correct timing and correct opportunity. That is definitely for sure. You need a little bit of luck and correct timing to get things rolling, to get certain types of opportunities rolling. It's from what I notice and from what I can share with you. All right, so thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great Navy day.